Hey guys, CC here from the Christian Gaming Channel, bringing you a brand new episode of Sonic 3D Blast. And this is post-commentated again because Windows decided to use the laptop mic instead of my snowball microphone. So that was a thing. Anyways, here we are in Rusty Ruin Zone. I was going to call it 3D Blast there for a second. Rusty Ruin Zone is a very interesting zone. Makes you wonder if it's actually a giant castle or if it's a ruin of a city, perhaps. It kinda comes across as both in a way. Now, in this episode in particular, I was very determined to show off Tails' stage. So, you'll see some failures. A lot of failures, actually, in this first level. But I figured I might as well have them stay in, because it's good to show off your failures as well as your successes. It keeps you humble. And as we saw, we have Tails right there, and I will never be able to access him in this level. Unfortunately. The music in Rusty Ruin Zone is great too. I know it's a complete 180 for topic, but I'm trying to cover all the points I covered in the original voice recording, but it's kind of hard to go over because that audio is awful to listen to. But yeah, you can see I tried to do a spin right here, make it all the way to the end while losing flickies, and it didn't even matter because there's a ledge there. So I couldn't even use it anyways. Back on the topic though, the music actually is really good. I much prefer the music in the Genesis version of this game to the Saturn version. Not all of the Saturn soundtracks are bad. It's just my preferences lean more towards the Sega Genesis version. Now, you see, I could have just went to Tails right then and there and just collected the flickies again, but no. I decided, well, let's collect the flickies. Well, it could be the worst thing that could happen. And then I eventually lose my ring somehow. I don't exactly remember how, but I do. Oh yeah, I got impatient. That'll do it. Kind of interesting that you have monitors on top of those pillars. And some of the smaller pillars with the buttons on top of them, you can see Sonic's face in it, I think Knuckles? No sighting of Tails though, which is very unfortunate. And you saw that knight in the wall, that kind of alludes to a future boss fight if you catch my drift. It's a pity the enemies in this game don't have more of an attack pattern than just kind of moving back and forth. I understand this game is an isometric game, so it probably isn't the easiest thing to pull off, but it would have been cool, in my opinion. Easy hazard to avoid, just stay on the right side and spin dash. And also bop the crocodile, I suppose. You see, we're back up to 50 rings, and there's bound to be something that'll halt us from making progress. Is it going to be impatience again? Maybe. Maybe not. Yep. But this time it wasn't really impatience, I don't think, personally. How could I have seen that coming? At the speed I was going, and the camera wasn't even showing it on screen at the time I was going in that direction, it really backfired bad. Something I noticed in the last episode is that, what is it called? The shield doesn't appear properly in the recordings. Now, I'm doing 60 FPS recordings, and even in emulator, the gameplay is 60 FPS. So I have no clue why the shields are blinking in and out so much like they are. It's very strange to me. And for those of you who are playing along, if you do have 50 rings, don't go through that giant ring. It is the point of no return. You cannot go back further in the level. So make sure you are aware of that. And also, side note, for this episode, I couldn't find the, Sonic medals. For some reason, I just did not collect them all, even though I very actively searched for all of them. Somehow I missed one. And I'm not entirely sure where. I may make an episode on missing medals. I know I'm not exactly the best about making bonus episodes, but I'll try and put forth the effort to do so. It's just really it's a matter of finding time for bonus episodes because I'm so busy with the main series that making bonus episodes kind of fall by the wayside, unfortunately. And yet another Bumblebee, which does nothing. Kind of an odd choice of enemies for this level, honestly. Alligators, enemy crabs, and bumblebees. Not exactly what I think of when I hear of Ruin. I think more like the bat brain enemy. Or caterpillars. No, we just get strange enemies, and I could have gotten the emerald here, but I was extremely stubborn and did not want to use Knuckles at all. For better or worse, that stubborn trait can be a great advantage or a great disadvantage. It depends on how you look at it. If I use it for the Lord, it's great. Use it for myself, it's not so great at times. Okay, Act 2. The nice thing is I do like how the music alternates for each level. Minus the boss fights, obviously. It's a nice thing that they carried over from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I wonder how a 3D remake, truly 3D remake of this game would look like in the modern day. It'd be neat to see Sega tackle a remake on this game. It's very unlikely that it will ever happen, but it would be pretty cool. If you go through that door right there, you should get Knuckles, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there he is. And he's not chuckling. He's very, very serious. And if I don't sound as good as I usually do, it's been very hot here where I live lately, so it's been making me very sick, even when I'm inside. It's not great. But I guess it's better than freezing. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to get our Sonic Medal token. One of the two, I'm actually not sure what they're actually named. Get our ring monitor, which is in a very precarious place, and we succeeded in that. Now this level does actually contain one of my favorite spring bounces in the game, if, you know, somebody could actually have a favorite spring bounce. It's a really neat segment. I just like it. So when you're going fast through the level, it kind of feels kind of cool. This one's not bad either, though. If you know what you're doing. You could just spin dash and then jump and go over there. Collect some extra goodies, and also lose the blue shield in the process and gain a red shield, which gives you invincibility to fire, if I haven't mentioned that. Okay, my favorite spring bounce is approaching very quickly. Yep, there it is. I just think it's neat. Because if you line it up just right, you get the token and just bypass that platform altogether. It's a nice little thing I like. You know, I don't think there is a classic Sonic era game that doesn't have some kind of ruin in it. You have Sonic 1 with Labyrinth Zone and Marble Zone. You have Sonic 2 with Aquatic Ruin Zone, it's literally in the name. And then Sonic 3 and Knuckles has Marble Garden. And... can Sandopolis count as a ruin? I mean, I don't think Hidden Palace would be considered ruin since the place looks fairly well intact. I guess it wouldn't be. And I mean, Sonic 3D Blast obviously has Rusty Ruin Zone. There's a lot of ruins in the classic Sonic games. Contrast at the colors. It's a whole another ballgame. Now, that pillar we saw a little while ago, that's going to play an important part in finding Tails, as you will see later on. I think Sonic Chaos doesn't have any ruins, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think of the 8-bit games that would have that. Okay, so Sonic 1 8-bit has Labyrinth, so that's just a cross-contamination, I guess, from Sonic 1 Genesis. And it makes it sound awful, but sometimes Labyrinth Zone is kind of awful. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 8-bit? I don't know. And also, Tails. Complete side diversion, I know, but this is the priority right now. Collect 50 rings. The Tails special stage is functionally no different than Knuckles. It just takes place in the sky with a metal bridge. And quite frankly, I prefer it to Knuckles. Just for the fact that it takes place up in the sky, because I think it's kind of neat looking. Better than just taking place over some river. You get a slightly altered version instead. Plus, I like Tails, so there's an inherent bias. I mean, Knuckles is fine, but Tails is the best character for me. That's one thing I don't understand with people saying that X character is the best. Like, it's the best to you, not to everyone else. I think it's a lot more fair and more genuine if you say that character is the best to you. Because not everybody's going to agree with that. You know, it's a lot more nicer just to say that it's that way to you. It saves arguments, that's for certain. But that was also really cool what I just did there. Thank you, Lord, for that. You truly are the best Lord. You don't have to worry about collecting 50 rings anymore, and we're going to do just a nice old spring bounce and bypass that platforming segment altogether. And end off the level, too. Now, it kind of makes it looks like Sonic's getting beamed up by aliens or something at the end of that stage. No, and at the end of any stage, realistically, but I digress. Here we are, the boss of Rusty Ruin. Robotnik has decided to take up being a knight with cat paws, I assume? The main gimmick of this is you have to wait for him to slam down one of the paws and jump on top of it and, you know, jump in it right into his face. But the paw's hitboxes are kind of really wonky and can damage you even though it really looks like you shouldn't have taken damage. And also avoid the shots, but those are the least of your worries. Jank hitboxes are more of a problem right now. Cool boss fight concept. It'd be really interesting to see that in full 3D, going back to the remake idea I just mentioned. Yeah, that's it. Robotnik has been defeated, and we will see him in the next area. So, there's that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Remember, Jesus loves you and Christ is King. Bye.